in this country every minute of every hour of every day throughout the year. This program will help identify arson indicators, detection methods, and how improper overhaul techniques hinder an arson investigation. This is what we encounter sometimes upon our arrival at a fire scene. It's known as overhaul. This particular problem, as you can see, this furniture was inside the house at the time of the fire. It's now outside of a house. It makes it very difficult for us to determine where the fire started and how it started. Take a good look around now at the room. Now that the furniture's gone, now that the sheetrock is down, now that the place is practically swept clean. Do you think anybody can tell where this fire started? In cases like this, what we have to do is we have to reconstruct the room. We have to bring the furniture back into the room to try and determine where the fire started and how it started. The furniture that you see out here now all has to be moved back in. Hopefully, valuable evidence won't be lost during this reconstruction process. We'd like to discuss today some of the problems that the arson squad is experiencing on a very common practice conducted by fire departments, and that practice is overhaul. Many times, we'll find that fire departments have overhauled a fire scene, and it leads to severe complications with the arson squad in trying to determine cause and origin. This fire was deliberately set to attempt to show some of the indicators that we use in a small room such as this to try and determine where the fire started and how it started, whether it's incendiary in nature or whether it's accidental. Some of the indicators that we use, going from, in this case, right to working toward the back of the room, would be a simple chair like this. This particular chair, you can see the front of the chair where it's burnt on this side. This part of the chair is burnt, whereas if we turn the chair over and face it toward the camera, you'll see that there's no fire, no burn on the back of this chair. If this chair hasn't been moved and it's in the original position, it would indicate that the heat came from somewhere over in this area. Working toward the back of the room, we find we have a TV here. Not too badly damaged, but damaged nevertheless if you look closely. You'll see that the knobs on this TV are burnt here. Doesn't seem to be too much fire on it, but the top surface is slightly more damaged than the bottom surface. Okay? If we turn this television around, we should find that we have no burn on the back. In fact, we have, no burn, and the back of the television is clean. Again indicating the heat from the fire came from this direction. In the back of the room, we have a small armchair, not too badly damaged, but nevertheless it is damaged. This portion of the chair is slightly scorched. The chair facing this way, again, is pointing over here. The heat came from this direction. What we're doing here is we're triangulating. We're showing that by using the furniture that's in the room, we're able to determine that the fire originated somewhere from this side of the room. And to prove the point, we would move the chair, showing that there was no burn on the back. The fire definitely came from somewhere in this area. The same thing over here. This particular chair, scorched on the front, not scorched on the back. Again, pointing over to, in this case, the area of most severe damage, the couch. If we look at the couch carefully, we can even determine, or attempt to determine, which side of the couch the fire started on. This couch is pretty well consumed, but it appears to be burnt a little bit more on this side than it is on the back side. Again, narrowing everything down, triangulating everything, right down to where the fire started. The fire starts in this particular couch. It's going to burn longest in the area where it first started. Therefore, it's going to cause the most severe damage where it burnt the longest. Now, if everything is as it is when we, the arson squad, get to a fire scene, we might even be able to tell how the fire started. John, maybe you could give me a hand. We'll go through this and let's see if we can find out how it started here. If there's any indicators that are left in this area.
What we're doing now is removing the debris from the couch, and if you take a look at this as we take it off, you notice that this is the wrapping of the cushions. Now it's burnt on the top. The underside is not burnt. Again, the fire started on the top of the couch as opposed to underneath the couch. We come all the way down to the end on this side. I don't know if you can get it on the camera, but this side, the cushion is completely gone. We still have wrapping here. We still have upholstery material here, indicating again the fire at this end of the couch. Fire underneath the arm, fire on top of the support. Again, centers the fire on top of the couch as opposed to underneath the couch. Now we go into the part where the severe damage is, which would be this corner here, and what we do is carefully remove all kinds of stuff, and we come up with a small piece of plastic with a small burn hole in the middle of it. Now this could be an indication of a plastic cup left on the couch. It could be an indication of an incendiary fire. We have to go further to check on it and decide whether it's a good fire or, per se, a bad fire. Going again to the couch. The cushions on the bottom are still up. They still have their tenacity. They still have spring in them, indicating a fast, hot fire, probably accelerated. By accelerated, I mean some kind of a liquid accelerant or something was used to accelerate the fire in this end as opposed to that end. If this had been a normal, accidental, say, cigarette fire, this arm would probably have been completely destroyed. This cushioning would probably still be on. It would still be there. Seeing as how this is completely destroyed with all the cushioning gone, this arm severely damaged but not completely destroyed, I would go with this as being an accelerated fire. If it had started in the couch, the polyurethane in the couch would have melted and caused a burn pattern underneath, but we would have had much more burning from the bottom to the top. So these are just indicators that we look for. This is a good scene because we can walk in, we can see the burn patterns on the floor, on the walls, excuse me, match it right up to the couch. We could use all the indicators, as Joe has mentioned before, and everything come in. We work from the least damage to the most damage. When we get to the most damage, we have our point of origin of a fire. Good scene, because everything is left as it is. The way you get a scene like this is once you get your initial fire out, heavy water stream, no pressure. Plenty of water, no pressure, drowned it out. And it's not going to take that long for us to get there and then you could do your overhaul later on to make sure that nothing happens. But if we could come on a scene like this, most of our times, of course we know sometimes we can't, but if we can come on a scene like this is a good scene for us because in no time at all, we could go through it, we could find the cause and origin, and the best time to get somebody, if it's a homeowner, is right away. We grab them right away, lay everything right on them, and we could probably get an apprehension out of it. But if we come in here and everything is in the backyard, we got problems. We got real problems.
There are other indications here, too, of where the fire started and in what vicinity we had the area of most severe damage. We have indications on the wall, as you can see, the severe burn pattern right here behind the couch, which would indicate the fire started here. Even on the wall, we have, in this case, what's called a protected area. You can see the area here. Something square was on the wall and protected the wall from damage in comparison to the area right next to it. In this particular case, we have it laying right here on the couch, and it's the remnants of, apparently, a mirror that was sitting right up in here.
This mirror also can be used as an indicator, or any kind of glass can be used as an indicator as an accelerated fire. If this fire was a slow-burning cigarette fire, this glass would be completely sooted as it is in the corners. However, in the middle, it's got a heavy crackle, which is these small hairline cracks in it, and it's relatively clean. What happens is it shows it's a quick fire and a hot fire that burns the soot completely, cleans the mirror off, and in the same time leaves an indication of an accelerant. If it was a slow-burning fire, you'd have black soot over the entire glass. So this is just another indicator for us to look for, and we can find if it's still in the room.
But the point that we want to make today, if we make one point, I hope it's that the furniture that's in the room, as it's in the room, as the fire is burning, is very important to us in order to determine where that fire started. If this furniture was outside in a pile, we would have to reconstruct. Hopefully, we can put everything back in the same place it was. Sometimes it's possible, sometimes it's not. And if it's not possible to put the furniture back, we could miss a small item like that small plastic container we found in the couch. By missing that, it could make a large difference whether or not we ever get a conviction in arson. Remember these points concerning overhaul. Use care in the application of hose streams. Do necessary overhauling and salvage work carefully. Move evidence only when absolutely necessary. Prevent evidence from being walked over and tramped upon. And leave household items in the room whenever possible. Remember, if arson is suspected, preserve the scene the way you found it whenever possible.
Ready? Yeah, I got it.